Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Timmy Kemza James. So today I'm going to be showing you how to fix a zipper on a piece of cloth or whatever you want to use it for. I'm going to be showing you 3 tricks of fixing a zipper. One is going to be the invisible zipper type, then the other one will be the closed zip, then the last one will be another technique. I don't know what it's called. You can actually use a zipper foot. If you look at it closely, I don't know if you can see that this is a zipper foot, but I'm not going to be using that because I know that for now most of you don't have this, so I'll be using the regular foot. But in another video I'm going to be showing you how you can use this zipper foot. So let's get started. Guys, I just went ahead to rule this line as a guide. That's where you're going to be using to fix your zip, which means this part here is your zip allowance. So depending on how much zip allowance you left on your garment, but I'm just using this one for reference purposes. So this is what you will do for the invisible zipper style. That's the one we are going to be starting with. So you can see here is your zip. I'm using a white zip so that I can contrast the color of this thing properly for you to see. So here is what you do. You look at this place where the zip opens and closes, is where you put down, like so. You put it down like this. Look at it, goes down like this on your seam allowances. And in sewing the invisible zipper, you put this aside for now. You can either use your pins to hold this down. You can use a hemming gum to hem it down, just so your work will be stable and neat. But I'm used to doing this, so it's not a problem. But if I were to be using it on a garment, I can also use hemming gum to hem it down. It makes the job neater and better. So I'm just going to go ahead to the sewing machine. Look here, the zip head is facing down like this. So my zip is on this side, is on the the sewing allowance that I have. So I'm just going to be starting around here. Bring down your foot. Ensure that your zip is resting on your sewing allowance, and you have to sew close to the zip teeth. So this one is an iron zip, so I can't really go really close, but if it's an invisible zipper, you go at the closest you can. So you just go ahead and sew. So if you did that correctly, your zip should open like this. You see? So the excess, the allowances has gone down on that side. So you bring this other piece like this, then you bring this one and lie it like this. So I'm starting this one from down. You can just like this. I'm starting from the lower side. You can do the same when fixing on your garment. You just have, if in case there's a joining anywhere, you just ensure that that joining aligns. That's the thing. You ensure that your zip aligns. That's the only thing. But you can start from up. But if I'm starting from up, I won't be seeing the zip. That's why I'm starting from down, because I need to be seeing the zip itself. So, but if you're using a zipper foot, that makes it really easy for you. Make sure you're sewing on your allowance. Guide it properly. I'm gently pushing it and still stabilizing it with my finger. like that. So when you open it up, you see, look at your zip. That's very easy. This is the style of fixing an invisible zip. Now if you're using this jean zip or this metal zip for fixing, and you're using this style of fixing, you can go ahead and take another step by top stitching on your zip. It makes it finer. I don't know if you prefer it, so that's okay. I'm just going to show you. You can just take an extra step, but before you do this, if you're using an iron zip, you can iron this down before you take this step. So you just go this place that the seam, just where the seam is, you just top stitch on top of your fabric like this. This one can serve as a design. It makes it a little bit finer, so I don't know if you can see that. Look at that. You see how beautiful this side looks. So this is the side that doesn't have the, so you see, this is so pretty. That's how to fix an invisible styled zipper. You can go ahead and top stitch this one, but I'm going to eventually take out this zip. I'm going to lose it because I'll be using it to show you the other style of fixing zip. So here you go. This is it. I hope you loved it. So let's go on to the next one. So for the second zip style, that's the closed zip now that we're going to be doing. I have these two pieces of fabric that I'm going to be using, so I'm putting this on this. Let's assume this is our seam allowance here that I've ruled out like this. You can use, here's our seam allowance. So I'm going to be sewing straight using a very loose stitch. So I'll set my sewing machine to a very loose stitch because I'm going to be taking out this seam later on. So I'll just go ahead and sew straight on the seam allowance. So if you look at the stitch very well, it's a very, very loose stitch and you can take it out easily. Look at it. The seam is loose, so I'll just go ahead and open it like this, iron it, then I'll come back. I'll iron the seam allowance open, then I'll come back and show you. So I've gone ahead and I've ironed down the seam allowance, you see. Then the front side would be like this. So I'm going to place the zip, turn it over just like I did the other one. This time around, you ensure that the teeth of the zip is lying exactly on the seam allowance. So you just raise it like this to see if it's lying like that. You bring it over to your sewing machine.
Stop.
So I've gone ahead to iron my seam allowance and I've opened it neatly like this. So you see, here's the front side. So we are going to be fixing the zip on the seam allowance. That's on the wrong side. If you notice, from the first one we fixed the zip from the front side of the fabric, but this one we are lining it on the wrong side. That's where the seam allowance is. Then you ensure that the teeth of the zip lies exactly on the seam line like so. Then you bring it over to your sewing machine. For this one, you don't have to sew really close to the teeth. So I'll just go ahead and sew. Sorry, I forgot to bring back my my stitches to a tight one, so I'm going to go over and repeat that again. So when you get to the last point of the zip, you raise this part of your machine. For an industrial machine, I can raise it beneath here with my lap. You see, bring it down, raise it, bring it down. But for a manual machine, you have to raise it like this, bring it down, then you stitch carefully like that. Make sure your needle is inside. Raise it up again, bring it up to where the same allowances you are using before, you use it, then you go again with the same allowance, you use it like that. Till you get to so you see, this is what the zip looks like on the inside. When you turn the back, this is what it looks like. This is the inside, this is what it looks like outside. This is the closed zip style. So this seam that I had initially, that I used a loose thread, you see is ripping off even without me using anything. You see, so I'm just going to use a blade to carefully rip it off. You can use a seam ripper if you have one. I can't find mine to show you, so I'm just going to use a blade and rip off that middle line that I did with a very loose stitch. I'm just going to rip it off. So you see, as I'm ripping it off, is exposing the zip for you to see. Rip it off, but you don't go all the way through this side. You just go somewhere like 1 inch above the end of the zip, or 2 inches depending. You can just whatever you want, but let it not go all through. Then you take out these threads, take them out. Go ahead and take the thread out, pull them out. So you see how I can go ahead and just press it carefully, but you see what it looks like. So you can open your zip now, close it back, open, you close. So this is the closed zip style, like this. Then I'll come to show you the last trick. So for this one, this style of zip, you're going to be needing this. It's called a hemming gum or tissue hemming gum or whatever, but this is what it looks like. So you're going to be needing your garment or your piece of fabric where you want to join your zip. So I've gone ahead to fold my seam allowance inside. I've folded the seam allowances inside, and you give it a good press. You iron it properly. After ironing, this is what you do. You position your zip properly. If your zip is squeezed, you use this one for an iron zip. You don't use it when you're using the other plastic zip or the other zip where heat is not heat resistant, but this one I'm using because it's heat resistant. So this is what you do. You place it like this. You place your fabric like this. just exactly the quantity you want to be exposed. So you go ahead and cut your hemming gum sheet. Then if you're comfortable with this size, I'm going to divide this hemming gum into two so that it doesn't stick to other parts where I don't want it to stick. So I'll cut this like this into this slim strip. Then I'll place it on my zipper, the seam allowance side of the zipper like this. Bring your fabric, you place it over it, so you're just sandwiching that hemming glue to the zip allowance. Then you carefully put your iron, press it down, so here you go, it has glued the zip. So you do the same thing on this side like this. You do the same thing, position the other side gently and neatly. You can use this style of zip when you're making a pocket design with a zip. That works really beautiful. Or you want to use a placket, you want a shirt that does not have a placket, it has a zip, you can use it for shirts like that. The opening of shirts, they also look beautiful. So here you have it. I'm just going to go over to the sewing machine and press it down, sew it down. You see, this is so pretty, can't you see? This is beautiful. So I'm going to go over to the machine and sew it for you to see. So you see, our zipper can open, but this hemming gum cannot hold it. It can't hold it till forever. You can easily rip it off. Let me just rip a little. You see, you can easily rip it off. So that's why we are going to sew it down. So you just bring it like this over here and just sew carefully exactly at the edge here. You don't have to do this fast, you can just do it gently and carefully. It's not something that you're doing speedily. It's not about the speed, it's for you to get accuracy and beauty. So I'll do the other side. Cut out any thread. Take out excess thread from it. You see, here we have it. This is so pretty. You see it? It almost look like the invisible zipper tied, but this doesn't work for invisible zip. It will not work in an invisible zip, and it might not work on a plastic zip because the iron heat might melt it. But if you have a way you can iron it, or you can just, if you're using a plastic zip for this one, you can just pin it down. You iron your seam allowance then you pin it down and just sew it. You don't have to iron it. But if you must iron with a hemming glue, make sure you use an iron zip. So you see, this is pretty. Just imagine this as a pocket of a garment like this somewhere here. It will be pretty for a pocket. Or you imagine it at the neck of a shirt like this. This is also pretty. Just see what it looks like. Imagine this as a complete shirt. This is pretty. It can also work at the back of a garment also. It will be just fine. You can use this method also to make bags and other thing. It's the same method of fixing zip on bags. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, share this video with your friends, subscribe and hit the notification bell to get informed whenever we have a new video up on the channel. Thank you. Bye.